I'm a money magnet, draped in designer, I stay high fashion. Tissue Bushi, know I'm high maintenance.
You're now experiencing Christopher Lee fragrances.
I bet you did not know that over the past 5 to 7 years, designer brands, designer fragrance brands like Dior, Chanel, and YSL have raised their prices from 15 to almost 40%. But don't even get upset. Do you know that fragrances is a part of the luxury ecosystem? Smelling good is not really what poor people think about. They're trying to make their rent, they're trying to pay their bills, they're trying to pay their car note. They're not thinking about dressing nice, getting a manicure, and buying water that smell good so they can just smell good. Perfumes was wore by kings and queens back in the day, bro. So I understand that everybody want to smell good, but the perception of fragrances will always be luxury, okay? I don't want you to forget that. Prices is always gonna go up, right? And I want to let y'all know because I have a fragrance company as well. I think you guys are familiar with my colognes as of now. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys that have watched me always purchase my fragrances. We smelling good out here. I want to let y'all know that you see my prices don't have to go up. You know what I mean? I don't got to raise the prices. And I realized that the ingredients I use inside my fragrance oils and my colognes don't increase in value. The ingredients always stay the same. But why do Dior, Chanel, YSL, the designer brands raise their price to almost 40%? We can talk about the cost of marketing, the huge budgets for like celebrities endorsements. I forgot how much Johnny Depp got paid for the Dior Sauvage campaign. They also got like runway launches over there in Paris. The packaging don't be all that. Sometimes the bottles do be nice, but the packaging be like in a little cardboard box. It's safe to say that you're paying for more like the brand identity than the actual juice quality. We always know that. Ooh, I got Dior on, even though it only lasts 2 hours. Ooh, I got Chanel on, but it only lasts 3 hours. Yeah, YSL, 4 hours. There's a really big global demand surge with fragrances. The fragrance industry is actually booming globally, okay? Right now it's worth $56 billion in 23, but it's projected to hit $75 billion by 28. That's in literally, what, 3 years, bro? High demand equals high markup opportunity. So let me tell you what happened. A lot of people start going on the internet, Jeremy Fragrance. Okay, he went on the internet, he started telling you all about these fragrances. He started being all crazy, getting a lot of attention. A lot of people out there didn't even know about designer fragrances. They knew about colognes that maybe is in a rack store like Nautica or let's say Calvin Klein, but they was never familiar with the reasons why you should buy Dior. And sometimes they never even knew where them fragrances was getting sold at. Places like Sephora, Ulta, Dillard's. People back in the day didn't even realize what a luxury fragrance was in the first place until they start seeing a lot of social media influencers talking about it. When the social media influencers start talking about it, Dior start getting a lot of sales, so much sales that they have came out with so many different fragrances. Chanel coming out with fragrances, YSL dropping a new YSL Y every single year because influencers like me have been helping them make more money, which is why they are raising the price. And some people also might look at it like, okay, well, Chris, I get that the prices is going up, but why do we feel like every reformulation of these fragrances keep getting worse and worse? I know you heard about Creed Aventus 2010 batch lasting all goddamn day, but now if you get Creed Aventus now, it might not last that long. Same with the designer fragrances. Well, the IFRA put new regulations on the perfumes over there in Europe, okay? So they forced a lot of brands to reformulate their little fragrances, you know what I'm saying, which made it a little cheaper, you know what I'm saying, with the safer ingredients, but now the prices still remain high because we've been buying it, bro. Now let's get to chapter 2. Middle Eastern fragrances have entered the chat. Now, why did the Middle Eastern fragrances even make a splash in the first place? Brands like Lattafa, Fragrance World, F9 offers designer level quality for $20 to $60 price points. The Middle Eastern companies focus less on branding the traditional way with like commercials and celebrity endorsements, and they focus more on the oil concentration and the performance. Now let's actually talk about Middle Eastern fragrances a little bit. Middle Eastern fragrances is rooted in oud, amber, spices. Okay, have you realized that the more that Middle Eastern fragrances have been hitting the market, the more fragrances from Europe and abroad have been ambery, vanilla-y, spicy, oudy? Have you realized that? That's all came from the Middle Eastern influence. As soon as we start getting familiar with the fragrances, because they start shipping it internationally, thanks to places like TikTok and Amazon, customers are very shocked that the performance to the price ratios of these scents, it's kind of like Middle Eastern fragrances snitched on designer fragrances. We could never get Middle Eastern fragrances. It's over there in Dubai. We in the United States, we not over there in the Dubai, so we don't have no way to get the fragrances. But the more Amazon became more global, they start adding Middle Eastern fragrances to their website. We start trying them out because they was only like $20. Influencers like me and other people out there start trying them out. We start spreading the word all the way to the point where Lattafa made $250 million in revenue in 23. Now, it's a fraction of Dior's $7 billion revenue that, you know what I'm saying, they make inside the beauty category. But you gotta understand, beauty is really big in Dior. They sell a lot of different beauty products, not just fragrances. Lattafa is strictly fragrances, and Lattafa is still growing fast. Fragrance world is now exporting in more than 40 countries. What would you do if you was in America and every time you go into a Saks Fifth, you're so used to seeing designer and niche fragrances cost $300, but you go home and you see a title of a YouTube video that say, why pay $350 for a vintage when you can get a clone of it for $40? Come on now, you don't think that's gonna drive huge traffic to the Middle Eastern fragrance community? Well, it did. Chapter 3, the rise of independent fragrance houses. Now, let's talk about the independent fragrance houses like me, myself, Christopher Lee Fragrances. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I only got into the fragrance industry because high quality oils was made more acceptable and accessible. Perfumers Apprentice, that's one of my favorite websites, and global essential oils vendors have made top tier ingredients available for small creators like myself. They have bulk oil prices, which have dropped a lot, especially for naturals and aesthetics. I can't really argue with their prices. Profit margins is great. Independent fragrance houses don't have an overhead like a department. Indie brands don't have the overhead like department stores have. Go direct to the customer. We don't have to pay staff. We don't have to pay truck drivers. This allows higher tier quality fragrances for mid-tier price points around $60 to $150. It's like social media is the new Sephora. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube have allowed new perfumers to go viral with zero ad spend. Facts. I get my fragrance to an influencer that got 1 million followers. They go live. I might make $10,000 in 3 hours. Did you know that in 2015, there were fewer than 500 active niche perfume brands? Now it's 2024 and there's over 1,200 new indie brands that launch globally. Fragrances is literally on the rise right now. Chapter 4. The future of fragrances. As you know, the power shift is happening at this very moment. Designer fragrances either need to raise the bar or lose loyalty to the niche and Middle Eastern players, okay? I am taking so many customers away from Dior, bro. So many customers away from Dior. So many other niche fragrance brands is taking customers away from high-end fragrances. Customers are getting very smart with these fragrances, okay? The quality is not tied behind a label anymore. We know what a high quality fragrance smell like. You cannot play us anymore designer fragrances. We would just go buy somebody else because we don't even care about the name no more. Sometimes we like to go out and find a brand that nobody know about and keep it our little secret as long as the quality is good. And sometimes the quality be better, which it is. The quality of my scents is way better than Dior. Facts. And you can get my fragrances for what, $80? Y'all don't even know, bro. This is a good day to be a fragrance creator. Hopefully you learned a lot, man. I say all this to say, if you guys want to learn how to make a fragrance company, come to your daddy. You can always send me a message on Instagram. I'm talking to all y'all. We gonna make some money together, and I'll see y'all at the top. I'm Big Boss, and I approve this message. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.
Oh yeah, cash out.
I do not fuck with these niggas. I do not fuck with these bitches. They moving like lames. I just be doing my thing. Where am I?